Just as a disclaimer, we want you to know that some of the movies that we will be reviewing were shot in a different time and era where people of race and sex were not treated equally. We understand this and hope you do too. The movies or anything that happened on the sets are not the views of this podcast or what this show is intended to be all about.
Exactly. And we want to give due diligence in presenting the movie and not the views of the cast or directors or anyone involved. But we also feel it's necessary to let the audience know some of the background information to get a feel for what was happening at the time of shooting the film. Again, we hope you understand that we do not agree with everything that went on, and we just want to give out the information. And with that being said, hope you enjoy the show.
Let's get a move on, people. We are on in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, people, Eastern Seaboard coming online.
The creators of Toy Story.
Good morning, fellas.
Hey, what's shaking, bacon?
Did you lose weight or a limb?
Take you into the world behind your closet door.
Roz, you're looking fabulous today. Is that a new haircut? New makeup. You've had a lift. You've had a tuck. You've had something.
We've always been afraid monsters were there,
Scary feet, scary feet, scary feet. Oh, the kid's awake.
waiting to scare us.
Twins and a bunk bed.
But what we didn't know is that we scare them.
What happened?
The kid almost touched me.
You can't touch a child, they're toxic. If a kid ever got through one of our doors, the results would be catastrophic.
Bucket.
Walt Disney Pictures presents
Kitty!
That thing is a killing machine.
a Pixar Animation Studios film.
Boo!
There's a kid here, a human kid.
We can neither confirm nor deny the presence of a human child.
Let's keep it. I always wanted a pet that can kill me.
E5-4.
What are you doing?
Monsters Incorporated.
It's a musical. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. So help me. So help me. And cut.
Alright guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema podcast. I'm your host Jimbo, and today only one half of the dynamic duo is sitting across from me, and that is
Kyle
Zahner. Terrence is MIA. Hope everything's okay. He is starting a new job 2 days from now, so hopefully he's just trying to get relaxed and ready to go.
His ducks in a row and all that good stuff.
Right.
We'll want to hear from him soon, I'm sure.
So today we will be covering something that's a little fun to do. We've been doing some heavy hitters lately with Ben-Hur and Silence of the Lambs, and we figured we'd lighten up and have a little bit of fun with our first ever Pixar movie.
Yeah.
This is one that we all sat down and decided on. We will be doing Monsters, Inc., which is just a fabulous show altogether.
Lovely kids movie. Definitely gets away from the heavy adult stuff we've been doing in the past few weeks now.
So, Kyle, question for you, since Terrence isn't here.
All right.
If you were a monster on the scare floor, such as this movie, what would your tactic be to scare the kids?
Oh man, I kind of go with Sully's to go like crawl and like pounce and growl. Whole thing when he just scared the bejesus out of Mr. Waternoose when he dropped his coffee, like, oh, he's like, that's my boy.
Is that the one where he goes in there and he's trying to find Boo, and then he does that scare and the dummy sets up?
Oh, that was a good thing. No, I think like when he talks to Mr. Waternoose about like how the plant's going to shut down, all that kind of stuff, and he's like, can you give like teaching people on the scare floor? Give them the I forget. I recall like I think it was like the crawl and growl where he's on the floor and then he passes up from the floor and just it's perfect.
I'd probably just open the door and roll into the room.
Yeah. Ta-da! Just stand there going, boo.
Yeah.
And
I would just stand there and look at them.
Yeah.
And let them look at me and just not say anything.
Right, kids are already terrified of me. I'll be fine.
So Terrence, Kyle
That's
will
Kyle.
be Kyle. This is where Terrence would normally jump in, so we're gonna just have Kyle take it away.
Tomato.
We'll be doing Terrence's work this episode. So Kyle, take it away.
All right, so we're gonna go with the movie technical specs. I guess that's what Terrence does because I pay attention to the show too. Anyways, we have it. Oh wait, no, actually, we're gonna go over the initial release date, stuff like that. So we're gonna go over the release date, which was November 2nd, 2001. Nearly 20 years old. Good old Jimbo was 24 when the movie came out.
Yeah.
I wanted to date him right there.
Thank you. I don't even know if you were born yet. Were you? Oh, yeah, barely.
Yeah, barely born yet. Yeah, I would have been 8. Which was the prime time for the audience to watch Monsters Inc. I watched it when it came out, and I enjoyed it. So, yeah. Movie was rated G for no parental guidance needed. You just need to be a kid to know enough stories. It's good. Budget was $115 million, which adjusted for inflation would equal about $169.1 million today in terms of budget. Its gross in in the United States and Canada was $290 million for the opening weekend, and actually, I think that was the first. Oh, I'm not Terrence, folks, but also totally am channeling Terrence's spirit. Yeah, and the gross worldwide was $579.7 million, so more than made its money back. The box office for November 2001 was number 1. It was Harry Potter Sorcerer's Stone at $202 million. And then we have number 2, Monsters Inc. at $197.1 million. Number 3, the Jack Black film Shallow Hal.
Very underrated movie, in my opinion.
Really underrated. Not really much talked about today for both, fair and worse. It is certainly of 2001. I'll give it that. But I do enjoy it. Shallow Hal made $58 million that weekend. Next up, I believe there was a Jet Li movie, The One,
good movie,
at $42.5 million. And number 5 was a movie called Domestic Disturbance, which of course we don't have the actual numbers for on hand. And next up for the box office total year round for 2001, we have Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone at $288.5 million. Number 2, we have Shrek at $267.6 million. Number 3, we have, back at it again, we have Monsters Inc. at $237.4 million. And number 4, we have Rush Hour 2 at $226.1 million. And Fast 5. Wow, came out like 20 years earlier than expected. We have at number 5, we have The Mummy Returns at $202.2 million. My bad, not 1.
It's very interesting that 2 of the top 3 movies there are all animation / computer generated with Shrek and Monsters Inc.
Shrek, Monsters Inc. And I'll throw in Harry Potter 2 because why not? Those kids weren't real. That's a conspiracy of mine. Sorry, go ahead. Anyways, the movie was directed by Pete Docter, who's also known for directing movies like Up, Inside Out, and Soul. Inside Up, the great crossover you never knew you wanted till now. Actually, I would love to see a crossover. Who am I kidding? But Inside Out and Soul, so popular Pixar director. And also David Silverman was the co-director, who also directed the Simpsons movie and various other Disney Pixar shorts. Luke Lee Unkrich was the co-director also. He was also director of Coco, Finding Nemo, and Toy Story 2 and 3. Writing credits go to Pete Docter, who also wrote Toy Story 1 and 2, WALL-E, and Inside Out. Jill Colton, who was responsible for writing the movies like Open Season and Abominable. And Jeff Pigeon, who wrote various Disney Pixar shorts. A lot of tongue twisters today in my mouth. Next up we have Ralph Eggleston, who wrote many other Pixar shorts. Then we have Andrew Strayton, who wrote Bug's Life, Finding Nemo, and WALL-E. Kind of a co-writer with WALL-E with Peter Docter as well. Next up we have Daniel Gerson, who wrote Big Hero 6, various Disney shorts. And music by the legendary Randy Newman. For anyone who's a big fan of Randy Newman, I was just listening to Short People, classic song, not really kid appropriate, but it's a fun song.
He does a lot of the Pixar movies. I think this was like his 4th Pixar.
Because I believe it was like Toy Story, Bug's Life, and Monsters Inc. and someone else. Maybe it's 4th or 3rd, I can't remember.
Yeah, it's his 4th, I think.
4th. Okay, 4th. I'll listen to you. Awful. Yeah, but of course he wrote music for like Toy Story. Apparently the Monk TV series, which of course he did. Princess and the Frog. Yep. Next up we have art direction by Ty Crater. Also the art director for The Bug's Life. Dominique Lewis was also the art director for The Groods. Producers, we have Darrell K. Anderson, Karen Tufelo Rosen. I definitely butchered that. I tendered that. John Lasseter, you may have heard him once or twice. John Lasseter, kind of a big name. Corey Ray and Andrew Stadden. Next up, we're going on to the runtime. We have 1 hour and 32 minutes, also known as 92 minutes in length. So, right at just like I think that's kind of like the Goldilocks zone for all movies lengths. It's like, it's not too short, but it's certainly not too long either.
Like the hour and a half mark, pretty much.
Yeah, hour and a half mark. Like that's where you got to hit that. Being in the theater, got to be at least 90 minutes. That's just kind of like the rule in theaters, even today. Sound mix, we have Dolby Digital, DTS, Digital Sound, Surround Sound, and Dolby Atmos for 3D re-release. Next up, we have color. Surprisingly enough, it was in color, bright, vibrant colors, all that kind of stuff. Aspect ratio, we have 1.66 by 1. And for the intended ratio, we have 1.85 by 1. Film length was 2,522 meters. Yep. And for the negative format digital release, for negative format, it was a digital release, of course, because it was a digital animated movie. The cinematographic. C's and T's are difficult for me, folks. C's and S's especially. I have a lisp. Cinematographic process was digital once again because this is a digital movie. And printed form format was for the VHS releases back in those things. Back in the day, we had these small rectangular shaped, rectangular shaped boxes, and they had film in it. They put in your VHS player. And
when I was a kid, we didn't even have one of those. So.
I had a VHS player. I even had one of those giant disc things. I forget what it's called now.
Laser disc.
Laser disc. Yeah, that's right. I even had one of those laser discs when I was a little youngster. I never got to touch it though because they were expensive. I was still
probably still expensive.
Yeah. And so that is the technical specs of the movie.
All right, Kyle,
I don't have any awards.
Now let's just see, did it win any awards?
Anyways, now we're off to the awards. Anyways, let's go on. Monsters, Inc. won the Academy Award for Best Original Song by Randy Newman after the 15 previous nominations for If I Didn't Have You. It was the first animated film to be nominated for the Best Animated Feature. Unfortunately, it lost to Shrek, but also, Shrek was a great movie. It was also nominated for Best Original Score, but of course it lost to The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, which has an amazing original score. Mm-hmm. And it was nominated for Best Sound Editing, but it lost that to Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor, often kind of like black sheep a little bit, but also like kind of a good film in my own right, in my opinion. Maybe one day we'll cover it. At the Kids' Choice Awards in 2002, it was nominated for the Favorite Voice in Animated Movie for Billy Crystal, who unfortunately lost it to Eddie Murphy in Shrek. So, I mean, it's...
You got them guys going back and forth.
It's hard to compete with Shrek. I understand. Shrek is love, Shrek is life.
Is that it for the awards, Kyle?
That's it for the awards.
I'm sure they probably won some other schmoozes and stuff, but Kyle didn't do that much dive deep. We're lucky he got what he got.
I'm not a full Terrence folk. I'm half a Kyle with a dash of Terrence.
So, Kyle, if I asked you... If somebody had never seen this movie and you were going to tell them what it's about, give us a synopsis of this movie that you would entice people to go see this or watch this.
What if, What Goes Bumpin' Tonight was like a 9-to-5 factory job? That's the thing where it's a good kids movie for having what's the day-to-day grind of being a monster? Why would you have to be a monster to scare kids? And
not just that, but the reason that the monsters are doing this is because fear is what runs their electricity and power and all that in their world.
The power of screams generates the power of the world. So it's the elevator pitch of that is just they're on their 9-to-5 jobs generating, making kids scream so they have power for the city.
Right.
And,
so basically, we have this thing. It's called Monsters, Inc. Is actually the name of the company they work for. And this story centers around two primary monsters that work. The Scare Monster and his, I guess, manager, if you will.
Sully and Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski.
I can say that perfectly fine.
Is one of my favorite characters in the whole Disney empire or Pixar. Because he is just hilarious. He's just one big giant eyeball, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Love it, yeah.
And it is... But before we get too much further into this, Kyle, I think we better tell people who played these characters so that way they understand, when we say somebody's name that who they can picture their voice.
Yeah, of course. So anyways, move on. I'm going to keep kind of brief on the cast here just because a lot of these people are like big name actors, so I don't need big introductions. But of course, we have the wonderful, giant, fantastic, legendary John Goodman playing the main role of Sully, the adorable, giant polka dotted monster, which I love him to death. You'll recognize him from horror movies such as Cloverfield 10, Cloverfield Lane. He was also recently in Argo. And he was Charlie Meadows and Barton Fink and a whole host of other movies. Like he was in the first the Kong Skull Island and a bunch of other stuff. So
maybe Roseanne.
Roseanne, of course. Probably the most recognized role he probably has in his whole career, even now. Next up, we have the legendary Billy Crystal playing Mike Wazowski. My introduction to Mike Wazowski is the movie City Slickers, where he goes on to basically a wild goose chase for gold up in I think it was Arizona or something like that, in Nevada. But a fantastic film. Analyze This, When Harry Met Sally, and Forget Paris. So Billy Crystal, also a legendary comedian, actor, voice actor, and just all around great person. Love him to death. Next up, we have Steve Buscemi playing Randall. You'll recognize Steve Buscemi from shows like Boardwalk Empire, the movie version of Fargo, Ghost World, The Island, Reservoir Dogs. Steve Buscemi gets around all everywhere, and he's a fantastic actor.
Wasn't he in Armageddon, too?
Yes, he was Armageddon. He was the womanizer, which I'd say a very weird role for Steve Buscemi.
And I think he was in Con Air, too, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. He was
like the Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, he was like a Hannibal Lecter character. Yeah, full on, the full
So there we did. We just tied this into Silence of the Lambs.
Exactly.
Kids movie into Silence of the Lambs.
It's all full circle. That's right, baby. We planned this from the start, don't worry. Next up, we have James Coburn playing Henry J. Waternoose III. You'll recognize him from movies such as the original Great Escape, Charade, and The Magnificent Seven, the 1960s version. He actually died just 1 year after the film premiere, sad to go, but also a legendary actor in his own right. Legendary past actor. Like Pixar does a great job of like bringing in like legendary actors like from like the 60s and bringing them for
The
like,
Great Escape is such a great movie. It's one of my favorites.
Great Escape is a seminal classic. Yep. Next up, we have Mary Gibbs playing Boo. Boo, the small child that Sully and Mike Wazowski stuck with, basically out of accident. She pretty much only did this role mainly, but she did a small little quest for. She was the role of Quest on Inside Out, and she did some additional Monster Inc. roles. I think there's some stuff she did at the Monsters at Work little Disney Plus show they did over there. I believe she does some small voice directors in that, if I'm correct. Next up, we have John Ratzenberger playing the role of the Abominable Snowman. John Ratzenberger, I'm sure I mispronounced that a little bit. But you'll recognize him for some, Cliff and Cheers for, 10 years or how many years it was. But, of course, legendary role in that case. And he does tons, and I mean tons of voices in Pixar movies. I think he's actually been in every single Pixar movie since the beginning of the studio, actually. So John Ratzenberger has a legendary voice and a great actor, great person. And then last, really not least, we have Jennifer Tilly playing Celia. You'll recognize her from two Chucky movies, mainly The Seed of Chucky and The Bride of Chucky. Kind of funny. She has the kid roles, and then she has the Chucky movies. Yeah. And she also has a Bullets Over Broadway.
And she has one of those very distinct voices, too.
Yeah, exactly. It's just recognizable from even just those two roles. You know exactly what her voice sounds like, because that's just her in real life. And that closes up the just a quick. There's other actors too, but I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I already did all the awards and I'm tired already.
And he's out.
But that's the cast of Monsters Inc.
So basically, this story sits around Mike and Scully. Mike is the scare leader. He's the leader of the company. He gets the most scares. He's going to set records and
top of the heap.
And Mike's his like trainer. He's pretty funny because he wakes him up in the morning. He's like up down. He's like brush your teeth and all that. So. Well, one day they go in there and Sully goes into this door, and it's this little girl, and she's not really scared of him. She just looks at him and goes, "Kitty," and he's like, So he gets out of there, and he turns around, and she's actually on this tail, I think.
Yeah, right on his tail. His back.
Yeah. Because basically these doors drop, and they go into the kids' room, And then they scare the kid. They come out and they fill up their tanks or whatever.
Yeah, the little red light comes on.
But she actually comes out into the world. And every time there's an incident, the one guy, 2619 or whatever.
2619. Yeah.
The guy comes out and he has a sock stuck to his back. The CDC's called in and basically they throw him down, shave him, and spray him with something.
Yeah, spray him and all that. Then they take a strap on him and like an adhesive strap they put on his back and rip it off just to avoid any kind of contamination of the human element.
So having a child in this world they think it's dangerous,
like the ultimate taboo, and not it's just like absolutely like every like world disaster times 1,000. It's as bad as like an earthquake or something like that.
Right?
It's
I think it's going to end in their world,
in their whole world easily.
So basically, once that happens, they actually take the little girl's name. We call her Boo in this movie.
Yeah.
They're stuck with her, so they scoop her up in like a little duffel bag. And, they don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, because they can't like.
Actually, it's Sully that has it because Mike's on a date with Cecilia
at the Chinese restaurant.
And he's like, "Hey," he puts the menu up. He's like, "Hey, look in the bag, eh?"
East Bay and the cheap Bay. I don't remember the lines he had, but but he's like in a dilemma because things have been going kind of down at the Monsters Inc. factory itself. They've had trouble with energy shortages or something like that too, and so the fact is like if they reveal they accidentally let a human child get out, then like that would be like a huge blow to the company. It would destroy the whole company basically like that. So like they have to try and suppress that news and get the child back before anyone realizes how bad this is, so they can kind of subvert kind of the blame of the company and keep their jobs and keep everyone employed.
Right. So. And unfortunately for our two heroes, they actually their bag was found when they were taking pictures of the news interview. Remember where it had Monsters Inc. bag. So now Mike and Sully are stuck with this child at their house. And it's funny to watch the interactions here. Yeah. But, and this is where Sully kind of starts figuring out Mike. He's like, I don't think she's dangerous. You know what I mean? And there's a thing where she starts to cry. And I think Mike takes away something from her. Remember, it was like a toy or something. Yeah. I forget what it was exactly. And he's like, "Give it back to her. Give it back to her." And she starts crying, and she screams real loud and cries, and the whole city goes like on a blackout road.
Like basically, the city block just kind of like overcharges, almost like kind of like a brownout or something like that. If you ever had one of those in your life, where like the electricity, in this case, an overcharge, but basically like that. And then I can't remember how doesn't Mike Wazowski get hurt somehow? Like get stuck in a chair, and that causes her to laugh. And when the laugh happens, it completely just blows out all the electrical outlets in the entire city block. Basically, all the lights burn out and all that kind of stuff.
And Mike's like, "What was that?"
The laugh is clearly exponentially more powerful than the scream, and that'll come back later in the plot. Obviously.
Right. So, but Sully's basically figuring out look, I don't think she's a threat. And he goes to tucks her in, and she calls him Kitty and all that, and she wants her to stay in there while she falls asleep, remember? And
because she's afraid there's going to be
it's just a touching moment that you can see this bond happening already between Sully and Boo. So they get the idea that they're going to, hey, we're going to send her back through the door, and none of this ever happened, you know what I mean? So they're going to sneak in and do that. But Randall, which is the enemy of this thing,
the antagonist,
he is trying to cheat and scare, do extra doors to scare to become the leading monster of the scare floor, which is, I think, Sully's won it for I forget how many years in a row or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so he's in there, and basically the whole thing breaks down to where. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah, well, like I said, the thing, core thing, Randall and Sully are both competing for the all-time scare record. So and it's clear that Sully just broke it the other day, basically like that, and Randall's rapidly trying to keep up and try and impress water nooses.
Well, do you remember? There's a scene where. They come, ladies and gentlemen, Randall Flagg has just taken the lead. And then he comes out and Sully goes, and then you see Sully's he's slumber parties, and he cracks his
knuckles like no problem.
And Randall's just so mad.
Another day of the week. So good. But yeah, Randall, he's the antagonist. He's the guy who's willing to play dirty to win. Anything it takes for him to win, he'll go down and do it. Where Sully is the good average working man, just doing the best he can, and he's just naturally talented at his job. And that's
right. So Randall knows they have the kid.
Yeah, because Randall.
He doesn't really know.
That's not revealed yet.
Yeah, he doesn't really know, but he suspects that they're the ones that have him. He's put two and two together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
because he notices Sully and Mike asking suspiciously, basically immediately. He knows something's up.
So Sully and Mike come up with this plan. They're like, "Look, we can't be walking around here with this kid they're going to find out. So they come up with that costume. It looks like a little
basically
purple...
like recycled couch parts, something like that, like the leather of a couch and sewn on zippers. It's just,
yeah, it looks terrible. You can see her face right through the costume, but
it's so good.
He drops her off at like the scare daycare, and it's like he's like, oh, it's my cousin, or my cousin, my cousin's daughter or something.
My cousin's daughter's nephew. It's like, oh, it must have been some holiday I didn't check when it explains the water news. Yeah,
but this comes to my favorite part where. Basically, Booze climbed out of her costume or whatever, and it gets she climbs. It falls down the trash receptacle or whatever. They empty it, and then you see Sully. It's going through like all this hammer stuff and pounding. And Sully stands up, looks, he passes out. He looks back up. It's going back to another part of the thing, and he passes back out. One time he barely gets up, and he passes out again. I mean, it's just one of the funniest scenes of the whole movie.
That whole trash thing goes through just a gauntlet of ridiculous compactors back and forth and incineration stuff.
And it comes out to like this little cube, and the little eyeball pops off. The little string eyeball pops off. And Mike's coming to him. He's Sully, where's the kid? Where's the kid? And Sully's just crying, and the eyeball pops out, and he hands it to him, and then you hear Mike Wojowski, and he's like, Sully's like, I can still hear her voice, and Mike's like, I can hear her too, and they turn around, and she's on like a field trip or something with this class or something.
Random field trip. I love it. It's like, I think I can hear a voice too. And then here's another voice go, Mike Wazowski. He's like, how many kids you got in there?
It's got comedy all the way through it.
It's fantastic writing.
We won't prolong the plot. Basically, Randall kidnaps her, takes her down to like a secret part, and is going to use her crying to become the champion.
Randall has devised this whole device that will actually forcibly take the scream out of a child in this very kind of, it's very dark for even a kids movie kind of way of like basically taking the screams out to the point of implied death to some degree.
Right.
Yeah. And so like Randall kidnapped the child, and I believe actually he kidnaps Mike first by accident. He kidnaps Mike and actually puts Mike on the machine and actually trying to suck out the machine.
So funny.
Just his eyeball with his whole mouth just surrounded by the machine.
The thing you gotta understand about Mike, man, is he likes to say, he's going out on that date, and he's like, hey, what kind of deodorant you guys like? Stinky garbage or something else, And then he takes his contact, his gigantic contact, and
the size of a basketball or even bigger. It's like a beach ball you stick to his head.
Yeah. So basically, Sully comes, saves the day. They said, look, we got to get Boo back to her door. So Mike goes to get the thing, but somehow it's already been taken back up and back into the rotation. And they go, and Mike's like, what are we going to do? And Sully's like, I got an idea. So they hop on one. And now they go out and ride this thing out into the door world where there's like millions of doors. So they're trying to find which one to throw her in.
Like this endless hall, or just like endless doors. And basically they discovered like the only way they can activate the door was by using her like laughter or crying. Like, no, we use her laughter. They don't make her cry.
So that's where Mike makes her laugh, and I think he falls and hits himself in the groin or something, and it lights up all the doors. Mm-hmm. So now they're running from Randall, and they're going to like, if you pay attention, which I have it in my notes, they go to like Paris, which is another scene for Pixar's movie Ratatouille.
Yeah.
There's a lot of throwbacks to all the Pixar movies in here, future and past.
Yeah, I believe it with the granted they revisit into, but I believe they go to like a trailer park where they have the pizza truck. It's also there,
and that's also from A Bug's Life.
Bug's Life, that's correct.
Their first so movie. That has both of them in there.
Yeah.
So basically, they capture Randall basically, and Waternoose they come in, and Waternoose is like, well, we would have got away with this if it wasn't for you guys. Yeah. He's actually the big bad guy behind the movie.
Yeah, it's revealed like Waternoose is complicit with everything Randall did, and actually started the whole project for him trying to get these manual screen devices because it's the only way he can figure to actually keep the company alive is by having this new method of basically stealing these children and using them for scream harvesting.
Right. So basically, here comes Roz. They set up Waternoose because here comes Roz, which is the lady that's Mike Wazowski. Where's your paperwork?
Where's your paperwork?
It's actually, she's the leader of the CDC, and they said they've been after him for so many years, and now they have the proof because it was all recorded on the thing that they set him up with. So basically, it comes down to the end of the movie where they're going to say goodbye to Boo, and.
Just one quick fun fact. I didn't put it in the cast list, but Roz is actually played by a male Bob Peterson.
And not only that, but I think the Randall's assistant is Frank Oz from Yoda fame.
I believe you're correct. You are correct, yes.
Yes. So basically they say goodbye, and Boo's, he's like, I can't come see you anymore. And she's like, Kitty, and so they shut the door, and then they put it through the shredder or whatever. The CDC does, I do believe.
Yeah.
Well, so now they know that laughter is part, so now it's like the laugh floor. And ever since the door was shredded, Mike had saved a little piece for Sully, and Sully has it taped to the back of his clipboard the entire time. He's like he's the leader.
I think it's like 2 or 3 years later, or something like that.
Right.
But basically, yeah, he's running the factory basically.
So Mike comes. He says, "Hey, come with me. I got to show you something." So Mike basically went down and re-put the door back together piece by piece. He shows you your hands. He's got all those
splinters.
Yeah, and he's like, it's only missing one piece, big guy. And he takes that last piece and puts it on the door, and it lights up, and he opens the door, and you hear Boo, and then you hear Kitty, and that's the end of the movie. Great movie, heartwarming movie, hilarious on all aspects. So that's just a little overview of the movie. Now we'll jump into some of the fun facts about this movie, because you'll find some stuff. I have some cast in here because Kyle did the cast that could have played the movie or should have played the, auditioned for the movie.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mary Gibbs, who played Boo, she was really young, so they couldn't get her to stay in the recording studio to record. So they actually followed her around with a microphone and cut her lines together from things she said while she was playing. So that's pretty interesting.
Convenient way to get around some of the labor laws.
This is very interesting, too. John Goodman and Billy Crystal sometimes recorded their lines in the same room together. They usually don't do that. They usually have one actor in one, and then another actor come in later and do it. But they were actually together, which is usually, uncalled for, or not uncalled for, unheard of.
Especially for the time, but it is imperative to get certain scenes, specifically like that training scene they had, wake up in the morning, he's like scary feet, do the whole thing where he drops down. You got to get those things, you got to get that timing down perfectly, which it's nearly impossible to do on separate recordings.
Right. Steve Buscemi and Frank Oz also recorded their lines together for the bathroom scene. So there you go. You have that too. Billy Crystal was originally offered the role of Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story, and he declined, which later he regretted after seeing the film itself. That was probably a big opportunity for him. So he says, Pixar said, hey, we'll hang on to your audition, and if anything in the future comes up, he's like, hey, don't forget about me. So John Lasseter actually called him, and called his wife, and she said, hey, Mr. Lasseter, I'd like to speak to you, and it was about Monsters, Inc. and the role of Mike Wazowski.
Wazowski, yes.
The scoreboard at the scaring contest consists of the names of the Pixar staff members, which I think is pretty funny.
That's great, nice touch.
So here's some of the throwbacks to the other toys, or from Toy Story and stuff. So in the first scene, one of the toys in the boy's bedroom shelf is the toy plane that hung from the ceiling and caused Buzz to fly around. Mm-hmm. When Mike and Scully are rolling through the scare floor, the rolling clown from Toy Story can be seen in the background. And when Randall is practicing his camouflage backgrounds, you actually see him pull down one, and it's Andy's wallpaper, the blue clouds with the white.
Remember that one? They have the whole thing, really quick thing where they demonstrate all the different powers, like the spike guy and all that kind of stuff, too.
At 3 minutes and 26 seconds into the movie, when the simulation is ended and Monster reaches for a knob on the control panel to review the videotape, just below and to the left knob is a little indicator which reads 510-752-3000, which is actually Pixar's phone number.
Oh.
So, Kyle, we'll have you call Pixar.
Right here on the podcast. What's up? Like your movie. Big surprise.
This is one of the greatest Easter eggs. I think is pretty cool. That the restaurant that Mike gets the date for Cecilia for is called Harry Hawson's, which is an homage to Harryhausen, who did which is funny because he did Clash of the Titans, and Cecilia has the snakes in her hair like Medusa, so I thought that was pretty funny.
Very clever.
And also, the octopus beyond the bar in the restaurant only has 6 legs as a reference to it came from beneath the sea in 1955, which he created the octopus with 6 arms due to budget restrictions instead of 8.
That makes sense, especially. And they later retackled that with a Finding Dory later on, having the full octopus be a main character of the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Sully, when he's walking to work, him and Mike are walking to work, and he says, "Hey, Ted," and it's that big, tall monster,
the giant rooster. Yeah.
Right. Well, it looks like Godzilla. They were actually wanted to use the Godzilla roar, but they asked permission from Toho, which was the Godzilla film studio, to use it, but they were like, nah. They turned him down. So they responded to giving him a chicken cluck. But in one of the credit bloopers, though, it is revealed to be a dinosaur, which is actually Rex from Toy Story, auditioning for the role in the movie. So that's funny too.
Great little nod. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, the post credit little. I love the credits montage. We can talk about that. Like the whole credits bloopers montage.
That's the first one that ever had it.
Ever did that, and it's so amazing. I wish more movies still did it right now.
Right. Especially animated movies, because it's funny. Cause
but even in film, since they have to do all that work still. They're still doing the film work. Right. Fake bloopers. I love it.
Boo's real name is Mary, as Kyle stated, and it's actually shown on one of the Crown drawings. She shows Sully in the scene where Boo is going to sleep on Sully's bed. So I think that's really cool. They put a real name, in there.
Mm-hmm.
The news leaked for this movie in the early fall of 2001 that this movie would be the chosen one for the teaser for Star Wars Episode 2: Attack of the Clones, which came out in 2002. Hundreds and hundreds of Star Wars fans paid admission for the movie just to see the teaser and then leave right after it. I was like, it's such a good movie, though.
Like, do we really have those kind of fandoms today where they just walk in just to see the trailer then leave? I mean, granted, nowadays
it's a lot easier now.
Now it all goes to YouTube immediately, but I guess like people still go to like San Diego Comic-Con just to watch one trailer, and that's all they really want us to go see.
Right. To get Boo to laugh on cue, Peter Doctor would entertain her with sock puppets in the recording booth at times. According to this film's credits, Kyle, no monsters were harmed in the making of this film. It's little things like that. And they say that, but I think Mike Wachowski got hurt quite a lot in this movie.
That's some serious acting work. Some Three Stooges kind of like good slapstick comedy that
right.
put in there. Mike Wachowski,
Sully's big armchair in his apartment has a hole in the back to let his tail through. I was like, hey.
Great attention to detail, always, Sully's whole character design is amazing. Little spikes on his back, the way his fur is polka dotted, but also blue and purple. It's really good.
There are also several Easter eggs hidden in this movie, referencing to what their next film would be for Finding Nemo in 2003. First, at Harry Houston's restaurant, we told you about the octopus shelf. There's also a painting of Nemo on the wall. Second, when Sully throws Randall into a bedroom, a statue of Nemo can be seen on the wall into the bedroom. And last but not least, when Boo hands Sully some of her toys, she hands him a Nemo toy. So it's interesting that they're always a step ahead, thinking about their next movie and throwing stuff in there.
Oh yeah, definitely. And just like and when there's like Asset Generation, like it's clearly you're always thinking like what's like the next 10 projects we have down the line. So like there's stuff like even like original Toy Story you could see like being traced in today in some films. Like I can't have specifics, but like
this was the only Pixar film of the 2000s to have bloopers, which we covered.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go, Kyle. Let me tell you, could you see these people playing Mike Wazowski? Are you ready?
All right.
Robin Williams.
Yes.
Eddie Murphy.
No.
Jack Black.
Yes.
And Drew Carey.
Ooh. Yes.
I think that. The funny thing about this whole thing is Eddie Murphy actually was in Shrek, so that was another animated movie going on.
That's something where it's like he's already Donkey, and like Mike was.
Unlike previous Pixar productions, each of the main characters were assigned their own individual animator. John Cars did Sully, Andrew Gordon worked on Mike, and David Devon did Boo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mr. Waternoose, are you ready?
Mr. Waternoose, go for it.
Patrick Stewart.
Oh.
I'll take that as a yes.
I would love to see that.
I would love to see Sean Connery do it too.
I'd love to see Patrick Stewart in anything. Sean Connery also, yeah. Sean Connery. You would have done a perfect job, yeah.
All right, Kyle, near the end of the movie, a poster can be seen on Mike and Sully's laugh floor workstation with the title 10 Rules of Comedy. I'm getting ready to give them to you. Are you ready?
Right, go for it.
Number 1, punchline does not mean hit the child.
Got to clarify these things. They always say every rule has a story.
Hey, this is you, Kyle. Number 2, don't howl at your own jokes.
You don't have to burn me like that, Jimbo. We're live on air right now.
3, tentacles funny, razor sharp claws not funny.
Speak for yourself.
4, multiple heads should speak one at a time. Number 5, no claws for tickling. Number 6, scared kids don't laugh. Number 7, try not to hurt the audience. Number 8, always keep sharp spikes in. Number 9, you won't laugh if you don't take a bath.
I feel like these are just the 10 rules for Gallagher.
And number 10, don't let them see you slobber.
So this is just
these are all good.
This is the Gallagher show. He's going to smash that watermelon. This is just for Gallagher.
Computing power and measured in render marks. Toy Story in 1999 required 1.1 million, and Monsters Inc. in 2001 2.5 million. So
it is expensive. All films are expensive.
sadly, the production briefly shut down following the September 11th attacks. So it happened.
Understandable, because like right around that time frame, a lot of
whole
films had to
world
be changed
shut down.
up. Like Lilo and Stitch had to change up everything.
And oddly enough, this is Frank Oz's first animated film.
That is. It's like one of those things, like it makes sense, but also it's shocking at the same time.
I guess he did more of the puppets, so it wasn't really animated. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. But still, like it's weird to think about. Like I guess it's technically true. Yeah.
Billy Crystal has a hand footprint at the Hollywood Chinese Theater. During his ceremony in April of 2019, a small foot stamp in the shape of Mike's was also pressed in the cement next to Crystal's actual prints and signature and written Mike W. So
That's fantastic. Really classy. I like that a lot.
Yeah. This is for the role of Randall, Jim Carrey.
Oh, yeah, I could see it. Yeah, totally.
Mr. Waterhouse was James Colburn's only role in an animated movie. He reprised him in both video games, so there you have that. The music when Sully leaves Boo is the same music in Toy Story 3 when Andy leaves Woody and the crew.
Oh,
that's a touching scene.
It's just, when it works, you can't fix what ain't broken.
Originally, the restaurant where Sully and Mike escape with Boo was originally going to be blown up by the CDA. However, due to the September 11th attacks, it was changed to have the restaurant be decontaminated instead. So,
yeah, right call there.
September 11th had just changed the world, man, for a lot of things.
It is. It's like granted, they just to put on a side note. It's like I noticed like a lot of films and TV shows always almost universally chose to avoid the subject altogether around 9/11, and most films either like they change their scenes to, like make sure they don't have an explosion scene at all, or like like Monsters Inc. right here where they have decontamination. Like the only very few films or TV shows even like directly touched upon it at all. Like I remember the original Sopranos TV shows mentioned 9/11 happening, but like shows around the era like Angel or stuff like that just kind of like nope, we're just not even gonna talk about it.
Well, I remember, wasn't it Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2 that actually had the trailer with the two towers?
Yeah, Spider-Man 1 had the trailer with the two towers, and that's where they added the scene at the very end where New York, all the New York citizens came to save Spider-Man there with the two dangling train cars, basically, and not the train cars, but the monorail thing. Yeah, and so that's why they changed that whole scene for the response to September 11th. But a lot of other movies like that, they just kind of chose to. I mean, granted, like there's no right thing to say there at that moment, but it's also kind of surprising to see how many films are just like, we're not going to touch the 10-foot pole, which I understand, but also is a little disappointing in hindsight now.
Right. Whenever the CDA arrives, Roz tends to pull down the shutter to her office, likely to hide the fact that she's the leader of the CDC. Mm-hmm. So, Kyle, what's your thoughts on this fabulous Pixar motion picture?
Well, this is actually the first, probably the first ones I got to show you. I got to see it as a kid when it released, so I have the full on childhood nostalgia of watching this film. I mean, of course it's great. It's a classic film that I watched when I was young and get to appreciate back then, and a film I get to appreciate now as an adult and seeing all the little fun little quirks about it. So it is absolutely it's a 10 out of 10 movie. Pixar was knocking out of the park this whole generation with Toy Story and Bug's Life and everything like that. They just couldn't miss for the longest time, and absolutely love this film. So for me, it's a absolutely full on recommendation. Jimbo, how do you feel?
Man, I love this movie so much. The thing I like about this movie is the plot is ridiculous, but you grow attached to this character, and the relationship between Sully and Boo is just so touching. It's almost like a father-daughter thing in a weird way.
That growing relationship of adoptive kind of sibling kind of thing.
Right, he's protective of her. Mm-hmm. And then you have Mike with the comedy just the whole way through, but then actually he's like one of the heroes at the end. One of my favorite scenes in the movie, too, is like, he's like, hey, we're on the cover of this magazine this week or whatever, Scare magazine, and they drop it on there, and like the logo, like the barcode or something's over his face,
directly over Mike Wazowski's face,
and he's like, I can't believe it. He's like, Sully's like, man, Mike, I'm so sorry. He's like,
Celia,
I'm on the cover
of the magazine.
I was like,
I'm on TV.
It's just like his two little arms hanging there. You know what I mean? But he plays a fantastic part. And I was never, during this whole movie, I was never bored with it. There's always something hilarious going on. And all the different stuff in the background that you notice each time you watch it, there's always something new that you see that you'd never noticed before. And what I thought was really funny, too, is the CDC, Some of them have 2 arms, some of them have like 4 arms, so they're monsters themselves, which is pretty funny too.
Yeah. And it's really, it's like, it's an absurd idea that it's so clear that every person at Pixar went through ridiculous lengths to figure out how everything works. Like, okay, monsters are real and screams equal power. Let's figure out how an entire world works with those 2 rules in place.
Right, and I think I read that they actually sat down and got the idea from this over lunch when I think they were doing Toy Story, that they all just sat around. 4 people sat around and came up with the story at lunchtime. Mm-hmm. Or at least the rough outline of it, you know what I mean? But like you said, Pixar, man, when they couldn't miss with Toy Story, this, A Bug's Life, and Finding Nemo. Those 4 right there is just some of the best.
Oh, yeah. It was just...
I really enjoy Bug's Life. I think it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah, no, I love Bug's Life. I think they're all like modern classics.
Right. So we might cover the rest of those sometime in the future because they're just fun to do. And Toy Story has so many childhood memories attached to that with all the different toys in there.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely give this a check out. We know this is a little bit of a crazy episode because it's the first animated, and we're talking about a cartoon, more or less. But hey, a grown man can like a cartoon, right, Kyle?
Absolutely.
But you're not grown yet. So.
I'm a grown man child. I mean, I'll say that.
So hopefully Terrence will be back soon. If not, we have to discover when Terrence is going to be able to record. So we're kind of keeping some of these movies back from Terrence, or not back from Terrence, but saving them for when Terrence is here. And me and Kyle will be doing some other oddball movies that probably Terrence wouldn't get around to watching with him working now. So me and Kyle should still be paving the way, and then we'll have Terrence in as he can. So
the schedule's getting a little bit floaty, but we'll try and keep releases coming out down the line.
Right, so I don't want to go ahead and say what we're going to do next because we may not be that. It may be something with Terrence. So, but me and Kyle's got a separate list going on that we're going to cover.
We promise there'll be more podcasts.
Hopefully.
This is not the end of the tragedy of cinema.
That would be a tragedy.
Oh.
Boom. So, with that being said, I think this episode's coming to a close, and that's a wrap. And Kyle?
And cut.